What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Ember Scorch podcast, week 6. I'm your host, Majnu, and today we got a certified banger. Today we're joined by the masterminds behind the Spire, the org powering one of the most entertaining teams in the league, the Spaghetti Spire. That's right, we got Witchatblackmass and Boostus in the building to talk about the team's rise, their chaotic charm, and what it's like to run an org that's got everyone watching. You already know it's going to be a wild ride, so let's jump into it. Welcome back to another week of Burning Podcast Scorch Edition. Today I have a special episode. I'm joined by some of the owners of Spire with one of their teams, the Spaghetti Spire, Boostus and Witchatblackmass. Welcome in, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Obviously, like with how I mostly do these episodes, I usually have like the players come on, so this is a little different for me. I do have like just like get the ball rolling. What basically like inspired you guys to like get this org started and get to the place where it is right now?
Oh man. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Nah, you can go first.
I mean it's a bit of a long story, but basically for me, I got into comp and I did a draft league, and I ended up drafting Matt or Witch at Black Mass onto my team, and then we got along really well, and then he brought me onto his org, and it was my first introduction to like seeing other orgs and seeing how orgs are run and seeing how the leagues are run. And I just thought that there were a lot of holes and a lot of flaws that could be addressed, and that I didn't like how just some things are run. And I just thought that myself and Matt, and then Ali, who I ended up meeting later, could come together and build something special, and where we care about it, each of our players, each of our teams, and we really put the time and invest in it. And one of the big things that I think we saw was that a lot of orgs were run by a singular person, and you run into a lot of burnout. You run into a lot of like it's just impossible for one person a little bit, and it just helps to have more people there that care and are invested and really want to see the org succeed and are willing to step up when needed. And that's kind of like a broad overview of like what inspired me. And it just kind of like I lucked out by meeting Matt at the beginning of my career, and we've been stuck at the hip ever since. I don't know if you have more to add.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I think we both saw like a hole in the how things were running and stuff like that, so we just kind of throw our hat in the ring to kind of build something special, kind of build up an org where people are like kind of proud to play under, and not like it's not necessarily like a cycling door of players and stuff like that. Hopefully, and kind of invest into people. That's our goal. So.
I love that, and I mean, speaking for personally, I actually did play on one of the Spire teams. It was Celestial Spire for a split, so I'm definitely grateful for these guys. Like they gave me a pretty good opportunity back when I was just a player. So again, I love having you guys here today. Now I do have a question. Like going to Spaghetti Spire with the current roster. How did you guys recruit them? I mean, did you know some of the players? Or what like stood out most about them?
So the way that we built Spaghetti Spire is that we kind of built a team. We essentially called it a scrim team, where we wanted to build a player's confidence. Like we didn't want to just throw them into a league. A lot of teams we have done that. It hasn't been successful, so we wanted to test out building kind of the synergy before entering a league. So they were a team before probably like 3 or 4 months boostus or something like that, where they were just scrimming like once or twice a week, trying to build like some repertoire, some comfort on the champs that they play, stuff like that. And we just kind of built it from there rather than just chucking people into the league. A few of the players that were on like part of the league, like we knew, like Pine, for example, and then I knew Psycho. And we had like players before also on this team that also like they unfortunately just weren't able to make the time commitment. And it's also like really good that we did the scrim team to kind of figure that out, because if we entered a league with them and then let's say that those players had dipped, it would have been we would have been stuck in a position, right? That would have been tough. So yeah, we just like that formula, and we probably plan on maintaining that kind of thing going forward whenever it comes to our teams to kind of build the confidence with the players and kind of the synergies.
Gotcha. I okay. So out of so this is the scrim team. So have they been scrimming for like a while now, or is this like something like fairly like recent? Would you say?
No, they had been screaming for like, yeah, like 3 or 4 months or something like that. With they originally had Psycho, who is now AD carry. He played top originally, and then he wanted to throw his hat into ADC, and everyone liked him playing it. So we kind of facilitated that, and then we ended up bringing in Pine for mid. He was a sub for most of our teams, and he wanted to participate, playing like actually fully on a team, and we saw success with both. And then with Moonshot, we ended up picking up, and same with Elves. For our support, it was someone that Psycho knew, and then they just synergized well. So
Nice. I mean, week by week, like obviously, like the players do their part by screaming and then playing. I'm sure like motivation can be pretty rough. So, is there anything special you guys do to like get these like players motivated, getting ready for the next few games, or you kind of just let them do what they want and just chill?
I think to touch on that a little bit, like one of the things that we also uh, implemented with this scrim team is we also introduced people who were invested in the org that were interested in coaching. We added that to be a part of this team because it's a little, in the beginning before they're in a league, it's a little more low stakes. We can kind of check in on it, see how it's going from a coaching and from a player perspective, which Matt kind of spoke on with the roster changes, the role swaps. Like I think we ended up finding a lot of success with what we ended up with, and we also have the admin Danny Phantom, who's their coach, and we've seen a lot of success with that. And he's really invested and he's excited, which I think helps make the players excited. And he's there to help them and encourage them to scrim. And then one of our philosophies within the Spire is that you have at least one day of scrims a week, no matter what. So they're at least getting that practice in. And then if the team is available and up for it, we always encourage more. But it's kind of this mutual excitement that the coach brings. We as an org try to hype them up, like we always announce when they're playing. I think you've announced in our Discord a couple times about your guys' Discord, and we do a watch party where we get excited and we hype them up afterwards. So I like to think that they get excited about playing for us, and that is what motivates them. But then we also have other factors where we're always watching, we're always cheering them on, we're giving them advice. We have a lot of people within the org that are willing to give advice and help players when they need it. So I would say that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly showing. They've Spaghetti Spire has had such a strong showing in our first split of the Ember League. I think like they're definitely like one of the top teams hands down. Like you can't even argue like looking at stats just of how like everyone performs. Like the bot lane does great, jungle does great, mid does great, top lane does great. Um, I I guess like my question would be like and you don't have to give too much away. What would you say um, makes it so that your team has this great performance every week and is just consistent? Because I've seen some teams kind of like show like a strong like showcasing of skill, and then it just kind of like like plops in the face. I mean, Spaghetti Spire week after week after week. I mean, amazing.
I think that Bruce has kind of touched on it with like specifically Danny. I would say whenever it comes to like organization and stuff like that, like we uh our team like in general has like really like fun ideas of like what to play and like and how to play the game or whatever it might be. But Danny kind of reins them in and makes sure that the draft is actually cohesive whenever going into games and stuff like that. So it just makes them be that consistent team going into games and stuff like that. Because, um, I mean, as a player who wasn't necessarily good at drafting initially. Like I would say that I kind of got lost in the sauce whenever it came to certain things, and then you kind of have a half-baked draft whenever it comes to certain things. And sometimes you just have to give players the tough, no, this is bad, we're not doing that. And um, all our players are kind of accepting of that whenever it comes to towards drafting. I've helped out with it whenever Danny's unavailable, but yeah, that's kind of like how we've been consistent.
Gotcha. Um, Now, like to touch into like some of the other teams, I'm not sure how invested or like how much you guys have been seeing. But like in terms of like the other teams, like who would you say like is catching your eye the most? And then, like, you know what? Let's say the top three teams that, if you guys have been paying attention, that you have caught your guys' eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I will be honest, I haven't been able to catch all the games, but I do try to. We all try to keep in in tune with any of the leagues that our teams are playing in. So I have been, I have been watching them and kind of keeping an eye on everything. And I would say, my top three, and I'm gonna exclude us. Like biasy aside, like I do think we're like one or two on the list. But I know crowd control in houses. Like I've kept an eye on them. They look good. Um, Even though I know we beat them, but El Barrio, I know those players. They're kind of proven talent in the league, and I think that they can make a splash come playoffs, and they do have the capability to win games. And then we have to give the shout out to Mundusto. I have a I think that when we match up against them again, we'll win, but they did beat us the first time, so I got to give them their props.
Yeah, I just to kind of echo what Boostus said. There's a lot of players within the league that are like slightly new whenever it comes to certain teams. Like I haven't seen a lot of the names going into like other leagues and stuff, which is good because it kind of opens up them to play competitive and stuff like that, which I like. So I don't know necessarily a lot of the players, but as Boostus kind of said, El Barrio and succeed. And then, yeah, I would say that Mundusto, I think we shot ourselves in the foot whenever it comes to certain things, whenever it comes to draft. And yeah, going into that series, um, I think if we play them again, we'll be more successful.
Yeah, I definitely do see that. It might have just been like, um, actually, let's talk about the Moonduster game because obviously going into like the game, it was a game that was supposed to happen later, but due to like some I think issues with Moondusto, I believe they had requested the game be done a little bit earlier. Um, Going into it, obviously, like the game one, I believe was a victory for you guys. You guys, it was a dominating performance by Alves on the Zin, and then Moonshot obviously shining on the Aatrox, and then Psychic Ghosts and Warm Tongue. Just honestly, I'd argue is probably like one of the best bot lanes in the league. I mean, they had a great performance with the Lucian Braum. Obviously, with that game, like you guys approached it very well. I I feel like game two, whereas it kind of like switched up a little bit. What was like, and I'm not sure how involved you guys were with the draft. Like, what was like the thought process of like going into game two? Because like we saw the Malzahar, and I believe we saw it was like Pantheon and Mbessa as well. What was like the the thought process like going into it?
Um, I know that specifically Pantheon was a takeaway from the enemy jungler as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we prioritized Pantheon quite heavily, and it's not necessarily Elves' most like comfort jungle champ, I would say, but I think that he did show success on it. I just think that we were not playing to what our comp necessarily needed to do in that game, and we were scared to kind of make action on the map when we shouldn't have. That's what I would say about that.
Cool. Yeah, it was a very close game. I'd say it was very back and forth. Um, I think ultimately like it got rougher towards like I think some of the fights were definitely forced. And it ended not too great. And then even in game three, like I know Moonshot did his best to try to like shut down the Sivir. I felt like it was very fun,
Yeah.
entertaining to watch him like run him down with the Wither. Um,
Yep.
but obviously, like the Hui was such a problem. So was the Poppy. I'm trying to remember like what the pick bans were. I think, or like what the pick order was. Was the Poppy picked in the first or second? I need to look at the draft because I feel like the Poppy was like definitely like a huge problem for the team.
Yeah, Poppy was the third pick for them after we had shown J4 already, so it was just a counter pick into what we were already showing.
Oh yeah. It was like first pick Sivir, then it was Jinx, Jarvan, and then it was Leona Poppy, and then Seraphine to react. I do like what Spaghetti Spire was trying to do. It was to go for like the Jinx reset with like the J4 Seraphine and Oriana, and then Jinx obviously like benefiting off the fact that there's a lot of AOE damage. The What was the thought process behind the Nasus? Was whose idea was that?
um, it was Moonshots. Like out of the players that we kind of give like a leeway to whenever it comes to draft and stuff like that, Moonshots champ pool is like relatively wide, I would say. So he wanted the pick. He was kind of feeling it. He played well in the first game and stuff like that. So he kind of wanted to give it to him. I think it was just a bit awkward because he wasn't able to really like he was doing his best to like pull a team in. I think the game was a little bit more playable if the goal was more even, but um, yeah, I think the Nasus was just something that he wanted to play. I think he did fine in Desinged initially. It's just when the team fights started to happen, we were just too far behind on our scaling comp.
Yeah, it's so difficult for Nasus to try to walk in when there's a Hui. Like there's just, I mean, like no pun intended, but like there's just no Hui to like walk in, right? Because you just get like you just get
Yeah,
CC'd and then you get slowed, and it's just like okay, back to split pushing. But then when you try to split push, there's a Singed out there just like proxying the entire wave, so it just feels like you're in such a rough spot. So I definitely was excited. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely was cheering on the Nasus to try to get like that 700 sweet spots stack mark, so you could just come up and just try to one shot people. But obviously, like not a fun game for him. Um, I mean, Spaghetti Spire did clap back though. You guys played the next match against it was TPO SB. I want to say, yeah, it was TPO SB.
yeah.
That was a stream game. That was definitely very fun to watch. I know Moonshot was having a lot of fun on the Wukong. What was you guys' like draft plan into that game? Like pretty simple, or did you guys have like rearrange your thoughts after that like loss against Spaghetti?
Think that I mean for
Or Vindusto, yeah.
from like never hoping for a team to win, but I think that getting a little bit of a reality check in the regular season is always good, and I think the fact that we did so well game one, I'm referencing back to the Mundesto game, like
Yeah, absolutely.
we did so well game one, like showed our players like, hey, when everything is open, like this is a team you are capable of beating and beating pretty handily, and then we go on to the next two and then we have some mistakes and it's kind of a wake up call, and also is a when you are winning week after week, sometimes your weaknesses don't get exposed, which I think this allowed us to pinpoint a couple and kind of address them, and I know Danny the coach has been working with them as well. And then as far as going on to the next series, like I think we went back to our bread and butter of building team comps. Moonshot also, it's also like a legacy legacy game for him. He popped off both games, but just a very kind of straightforward team comp through and through with the game one and game two, and have a very strong identity for both of them, that they know where to play through, they know who to play through, and it allows us to kind of take that part out of the equation and let the players just play the game. And I will say, like, a lot of that is just me like talking. I know Matt is much more well versed in the drafting. I actually think he was drafting for
That game.
uh these games, so he can speak on that as well.
Yeah. I was just more so surprised in their game one because they actually just drafted the champs that we play. to take them away. I think, unironically. So it was just a bit weird. Like they took Aatrox, Irelia, and Ziggs, and J4, I guess, but J4 is kind of like a universal jungle right now. But they just took 3 champs that they know we play, and so it was just kind of interesting. They also had 2 subs, unfortunately, but I mean, you have to do what you have to do. So
Yeah, I did see that they definitely did take like moonshots like Pocket, Aatrox, and then it's Pine that plays Irelia, right? Or is that also Moonshot?
no, Moonshot also plays Irelia, and then we play Ziggs in uh, both bot and mid as well. So it was just a triple takeaway of like stuff that we would actually play.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say it's
so I
the
was,
Moonshot show right there, back to back. I
yeah,
mean, definitely fans right there.
yeah. I was just super surprised at their draft just immediately takeaway, which I mean they weren't successful on it, so it's just they were just kind of taking them away. I think,
Yeah, I think
but
because they were pinched on, I believe it was 2 bans or 4 bans. I can't remember. Um,
yeah, it's 4 been.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was 4 bans. I think they had to do what they could to like maximize on taking champions away for like the next games. So even if they lost game 1, I think their idea was to like bounce back games 2 and 3 by like pinching your guys' pools. But I feel like there's just so many champions up. It's so difficult to do that, especially when you're at such a
yeah,
disadvantage. And I mean, Spaghetti played absolutely beautiful both games. Um, so it's nice to see.
You're kind of cutting in and out. I don't know if that's just for me.
Oh, am I cutting in and out? Oh, must be like.
yeah, just a little bit.
Hold on, let me check something. Am I good now? Like, am I sounding okay?
Yep,
Yeah, yeah,
yep.
you're better.
Okay, I'm not sure
It
why
was
I was.
just kind of hard to follow there for a second.
Oh, what was the last? Did you hear what I said about like what was the
Yeah, I
last?
mean, I could, I think that that's like what you were saying is that game one they had to use two e subs. They were lost 4 bans. Their thought process might have been like, hey, let's take away as many champs as we can, and then bounce back in games 2 and 3 with these already off the board. And um, I think that there's something to be said about that strategy. I think it's a risky one, and that kind of showed in game one. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with like how Spaghetti's been doing, what if they do win the whole thing? Let's just say they win playoffs and then they win like um the entire league. What would I mean? I'm trying to think of the word for it. Uh, like is like what would that win mean for them? Like, is it like a little like another trophy for them, or is it just like proof that they can play in like a higher elo, et cetera? Like, what would that win mean for them if they win the whole thing?
I mean, I mean, I'd like Matt to talk on this too, but I think for any player, proving yourself is always something that you want, and adding the trophy is always exciting. But I think for us as an org and from a players, like coming from a scrim team and then developing together and building that relationship, and then um, you know joining a league and starting off the way that they have, and continuing to develop, like I think that means a lot. Like these are players that weren't necessarily sure if they could play in comp, and they had some anxiety around it, and then they've come together, and we're incredibly proud of them. No matter what the result is, I think that they've performed very well, and it's shown that the scrim team concept is a success, and I think they've all played well. And like I've said, like I know Matt, myself, and Ali both all talk about like each player, like how proud we are of how much they succeeded and they've worked together, and Danny as well as how hard he's worked at coaching them. So I think for me, like just personally, it's just the showing that you can bring players together and with the right help. And I mean I feel like this sounds so cringe, but like the right direction. It's like they're able to come together, they're able to build this relationship. And I know Matt and I both have the philosophy that there is sometimes you can put the best players together and not succeed, and there is a relationship aspect and wanting to win for each other and wanting to do the best that you can for your teammate. Where you maybe aren't the best player in the league, but you work together and you become the best team, which I think is what they're showing that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I really have anything too much to add there. I think that it would mean a lot to them as well to win the league ultimately. Like, I mean, it's something that they obviously want to do as a squad. I think that a lot of them, like I know Moonshot had mentioned that he had come in second, like quite a bit whenever it comes to leagues and stuff like that. So to win something would be pretty, nice for them, and I hope that they can do that going into this, the next coming weeks and playoffs.
I love that. I could definitely hear like the dedication that you guys have, and I could tell like the players are definitely happy where they are. Um, Now, like this is just more of a generic question for the entire org with like how things have been going, and I know like we spoke about this, prior to like me starting the interview or the podcast. Where where do you see your guys' org in like a year? Would you say like comfortably, like where would you like to be a year from now?
I think that in general, like we just want to be like a comfortable place for and like a consistent place for people to play the game in a competitive sense. I feel like as we kind of voiced, a lot of times orgs and players can just be like rotating doors whenever it comes to like teams and players themselves, and we kind of are incentivizing people to actually participate and maintain their relationships within the Spire and kind of like interact with everybody. um, I think that's like the biggest thing for me. I would say is that like I want people to feel comfortable actually playing under us and willing to like talk to anyone that's admin or just part of the Spire in general. As we try to facilitate like just kind of like a welcoming space for uh, competitive league. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. I just like to be kind of known for that within the community, and uh, hopefully, with the way that we're going, we can continue that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say shameless plug, but definitely like if
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to echo that because I think for all of the owners, I think we're having a little disconnect.
I think yeah, I guess I came back at a weird weird moment. I'll edit this part, but like I'll reverse it back. So go ahead and say what you wanted to say, and then I'll say my part after.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just to echo what Matt was saying, like I don't think either any of the owners like we hope to grow within the capacity and have as many teams as we can that we are fully able to commit to, but I also think that we would rather have fewer teams that are passionate and supportive and wanting to stick together and through we've been together, I don't know, like 2.5 years now, and I think the teams that we've been able to show success with are teams that, they have stuck it out. They've built a relationship, and even with Spaghetti, the amount of time that they've scrimmed and were together beforehand, it's like they went through a whole split together, and then now they're joining Ember, and we're seeing a lot of success with that. So it's a formula that I think is working, and we hope to continue to work, and hope that we can continue to build on it, and yeah, just kind of be known in the community for that.
No, I absolutely love the philosophy, and I was gonna say like if you guys want, I know I've seen your post like looking for like new players. Are you guys recruiting for any ranks currently right now?
Yeah, so we are kind of actively recruiting for Emerald. That's definitely our biggest player base right now. We are recruiting for Diamond. Um, and I think right now that's kind of the biggest thing. Coaching, like if people are interested in coaching, they can feel free to reach out. We like to offer an opportunity there. But for players, Emerald, if you're Emerald or Diamond, feel free to reach out. We're looking for players. We're looking to build teams. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. For anyone that's watching, if you guys are Emerald or Diamond, or you know anybody that's interested, I'll link I'll link the names of the discords, but it'll be Boostus or Witchatblackmass. Definitely hit them up for tryouts. They're looking for more teams to join up, so definitely don't miss that opportunity. Um, So cool. So now for this part of the segment, I just kind of like to do like quick fire, like a rapid fire almost round, where I'll ask like 3 questions to both of you individually, and then just like it's up to you if you want to explain it or not, but you don't have to. But yeah, just like one word
Okay.
answers or whatever you guys want to do. So I'll start with Matt. You first. What is your favorite champion to watch when one of your teams are playing, or favorite champions? You could say multiple.
I mean, whenever people play Olaf or Fiddlesticks, I mean, those are my two champs. So whenever other people play it, I get kind of hyped about it. It's very rare that I see Fiddlesticks being played other than myself when it's not banned. But yeah, I would say those two would be pretty hype for me. Olaf just brain dead running at people and stuff like that. Always fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't really see Olaf jungle too much nowadays, but Olaf top is definitely fun to watch. What about your favorite champion skin of all time?
Oh, it gotta be Lollipoppy. No explanation.
Uh, next question. Actually, hold on. Before the rework or after the rework? That's actually very
No,
important.
before. It has to be
Oh,
before.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no saving that. What's one word to describe your org?
Uh, sorry, can you repeat that? To
One,
describe the org?
yeah, one word you could describe your org.
Committed, I guess. I can't really think of one.
No, that's fine. Committed. We love it. All right, Boostus, it's your turn on the hot seat. What's your favorite champions to watch when your teams are playing?
I always like to see Kaisa, and then in the top lane, I'm always a fan of like Cassante. Like seeing the limits of when that champion is operated. I always enjoy watching that, even though I hate it as an AD carry player.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 2,000 years right there. What about favorite champion skin?
Oh, I don't know. That's hard. Um,
List multiple if you want. I mean, there's no bias here. You're
I
good.
think I think Elderwood Wukong. That was one of my favorites.
Is
You
that
like that skin
the
line?
yeah? Is
I
that
do. I really like
the
the
that's the
really like the Elderwood.
blue and red one, right? Where he has like his eyes are like green, right? He's like almost wood. It's blue and red, right?
Yeah,
Am I losing my
but
mind?
I'd have to double check it. But the Elderwood or like the old god skin lines, I really like those.
Oh yeah,
And then I have enjoyed some of the new like more silly skins, but as far as the aesthetic I've liked the most is the Elderwood line.
yeah. I'll definitely back that. I'm definitely a big fan of like the Elderwood slash like Eldritch Horror. I'm absolutely like I love those. Like the one skin that they did for Volibear, they really didn't like. I guess they did it for Malphite, right? The Eldritch Horror Malphite, or is, oh, no, they call it the Old God, right? It's the Old God Malphite. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is honestly a fantastic skin line. So I can't argue there. Cool. Well, hey, thank you guys for being here. Before I close out the interview, or sorry, podcast. I should say podcast. If interview feels like such a serious word. Like, thanks for coming to your job interview today. This is how I'm gonna rate you. So, um, are there any like shout outs or parting words you wanted to say to like either your players or even like let's just say your fan base? We got because I know there's a Spire fan base out there. Any like, parting words you like to say? Boostus, I'll start with you this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to start with our other owner, Ali. Like, thanks for all the hard work, and then all of our admins, like everyone who's helped us out. I really appreciate it. And then, of course, shout out to our team and the coach, Danny. Like, they've been putting in a lot of work, and it's shown. And then all the other players playing, and you guys, of course. Like, overall, it's been a really well run league for a first split, and it shows how much dedication and heart you've put into it. So really appreciate that, and enjoy having our players play in it.
Thank you, Matt. What about you?
I mean, Boostus kind of did the checklist for me, to be honest. I mean, yeah, like no, just in general, like yeah, like our admins in general and Alley, like I think we wouldn't be as successful as we are when it comes to running and just kind of being on top of things if we weren't being like held accountable and like kind of streamlined in the right direction. And then I would say that everyone that plays under us, like I appreciate the dedication. Like we care about them, like as a teammate and like as a friend too. Like a lot of the people that we have found that we played with, like we've actually built friendships and stuff like that. So I just like that kind of community aspect whenever it comes to uh, our org in general. It just feels nice. And then yeah, specifically like Ember, like for the first split, like I think that you guys are running it like pretty proficiently whenever it comes to answering questions. I haven't been left on red or anything like that, and it's greatly appreciated whenever it comes to just getting quick responses and kind of figuring stuff out because I realize how much time it actually takes to run a league, and it's been going smooth. So I see it, and thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I mean, honestly, like I appreciate you guys for coming out today. Like huge thanks to Boostus and Matt for joining me. Always great to hear from some great minds behind the scenes of the teams. I mean, again, like I appreciate the time that you guys took to share your guys' story, like the vision that you guys have. Definitely like inspiring, and it makes me rethink a lot of the things about like being an org runner as well. And like again, like wishing you guys, the org, your teams, Ali, everyone, the best of luck, and I'm excited to see how Spaghetti takes it to the next level in the coming weeks. Cool. All right. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of the Burning Point Scorch Edition. Massive shout out to Witchatblackmass and Boostus from the Spire for coming through. Always a blast talking shop with the minds behind Spaghetti Spire. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow us on all of our socials at Ember Esports, and don't miss the action live every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, at Twitch TV Ember Esports. We got more fire matchups, more stories, and more chaos coming your way as we approach playoffs. Until then, stay locked in, stay spicy, and we'll see you on the Rift. Peace.